Welcome to our series on the wisdom of Ignatius. This is the fourth part on the first principle and foundation. My name is Kevin Leidick, and I'm one of the pastoral ministers here at El Retiro. Let me begin by relating two stories. In the year 2010, one of my first cousins died, the first of my generation, and he was married for about 30 years. Shortly after high school graduation in the late 1960s, he was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. And so he qualified with being experimentally a patient at Stanford nearby here near El Retiro. So he was sick for quite a number of years. But in the 1970s, he met a young woman, graduate of St. Mary's College in Moraga, and in 1980 they got married. Now, my cousin was already sick for a number of years, and yet this young woman who married him cared for him a great deal, very deeply. In doing his funeral services in 2010, I was very much struck by how much his wife loved him, how in those years of marriage, and he was sick during his entire years, how his wife cared for him, made sure he saw the right doctors, got the right treatment. I was struck by her fidelity and her care for him over all those years of sickness. I had a former student who was once engaged to be married to a young woman, and halfway through the engagements, it was discovered that the young woman had developed breast cancer. The former student quit the engagement. Ignatius challenges us in the next section of the first principle foundation. To attain this, it is necessary to make ourselves indifferent to all created things, in regard to everything which is left to our free will and is not forbidden. Consequently, on our own part, we ought not to seek health rather than sickness, wealth rather than poverty, honor rather than dishonor, a long life rather than a short one, and so on in all other matters. In returning to my two stories, which person chose love over long life? Which one chose love over good health? I desire health, but health is not the ultimate criterion for my choices. We are urged to make ourselves indifferent. Ignatian indifference is not a response of apathy, but rather a putting first things first, putting things in balance in our choices for love. I'm so in love with the beloved that everything else falls into place. That is why the challenge of the first principle foundation is such an appropriate one for a wedding homily. Thank you for joining us. We have one more session in which the first principle foundation will be part of this series on the wisdom of Ignatius. Thank you.